I can show you the world. Shining, shimmering mastery system. That didn't go well. That's fine. Ooh, mastery system. We got a juicy blog by Ain't about the mastery system. We're gonna be talking about that, and of course we're gonna have the Q&A section at the end. So let's get into it. So we have an official name for the mastery trees or branches or sections. They're called mastery tracks, kind of like PvP. So what you're gonna be able to do is unlock these mastery tracks, and then once you have them unlocked, you can equip them, and whatever you're doing in the world, leveling up, whatever, it's gonna go towards leveling your mastery that you have, the mastery track that you have equipped. Now this is going to replace your XP bar once you get to level 80. Which is interesting. So now you won't be getting XP points, which is something I speculated on, and I'm so happy I was right. You're going to be getting mastery points instead when you level up, or when you reach the end of the XP track, which is interesting. And then you could put more points into that track to get more abilities out of it. Now don't worry, they're going to spread out skill points in other ways through high level content, as they say on the blog, so you'll be able to earn skill points in other ways as well. And I mean, come on, who doesn't have a stack of like 250 skill points in their bank? I mean, man, just by doing events, you just get stacks and stacks of them. I'm stacking up my tomes of knowledge for that Revenant Instant 80. Oh yeah. So they touched on something interesting. Once you unlock the ability to have mastery points, your mastery points are going to be displayed. How many mastery points you have gained throughout your, I guess, lifetime will be shown instead of your level. I'm assuming this is going to be after level 80. Is this some form of titles or better titles instead of achievement points, which doesn't really show how many hours you have put into the game? You know, achievement points, of course, you earn them by doing specific tasks. In this is just all just playing the game, and you have these points above your head. This is kind of like you meet up with somebody, you're kind of comparing sausages here. You know, just walk up like, yo, I got a bigger sausage than you. I really like this change. It might be just a small cosmetic change. You know, it doesn't really mean anything for the game. But in terms of, I don't know, showing off, you know, the map completion one, the little star, that's really cool and all. But everyone can eventually do that. But this is like a ladder. This is like, oh, I am better. And I guess it's not gonna be really good for people who don't want that type of thing. It's like, oh, you're gonna have to at least get 100 mastery points in order to play this dungeon. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. But what I like is, you know, the level 80 gets kind of boring. You have that level 80 there, you know, who cares? Everyone's level 80. If you spend time in the game, you're gonna reach level 80 without any problem. Well, no, maybe a little problem with the new player experience, but of course they're gonna change the trait system and stuff like that, and that was already confirmed. All I know is I'm gonna be grinding this out. I'm gonna have no life for like the first week, so yay. Some more confirmation is that the mastery system is going to be split into 2 regions so far. So you're going to have the Magumba jungle, Magumba jungle, Magumba. So we're going to have the jungle, and then we're going to have the rest of Tyria. That's right. So it's going to be 2 regions. So people who don't have the X pack will be able to use the mastery system, you know, just by leveling up and blah, blah, blah. And then people who have Heart of Thorns will be able to get, you know, the glider and stuff like that in the Maguma jungle, which is really cool. And they do clarify that you're going to be able to level up, you know, just by obviously getting XP, story missions, challenges, adventures, pretty much anything. Really, you're going to be able to level it up even though you're not level 80, but you can't spend points until you're level 80. And I guess that's for people who don't have a level 80 yet. So then they showed 5 examples of mastery tracks, and hopefully there's more, to just 5 of them. I was hoping for a big old library of stuff, but I'm pretty sure this is not all of them, but I definitely want a lot more. And of course they do say that it's going to take a while to actually max it all the way out, max out your mastery track. So first we have the Master of Lore, they have the Master of Combat, they have the Master of Exploration, the Master of Fractals, and then the Master of Legends. Yes, yes, Yeah, it's what you're thinking. You're going to be able to craft legendary weapons, all legendary weapons and precursors. Yeah, that's right. Finally, the scavenger hunt begins. And all you have to do is play the game in order to unlock more points to put into these track of mastery legends. Oh my gosh, oh, this is great. Hopefully it's not as easy as I'm thinking. It's like, oh, all I have to do is just play the game and I unlock it, which is a good thing, but hopefully it's at a higher tier, and I wonder how they're gonna do multiple legendaries. And maybe this is only the beginning of the scavenger hunt, where you unlock the ability to craft the precursors for the legendaries, and then you still need to gather materials and stuff like that ahead of time. Maybe you have a chance, a bigger chance in these chests that you get from I guess reaching new levels in the mastery track, kind of like in PvP, PvP's track, and you might get a chance to get a precursor inside of it. Maybe obviously it's not gonna be like a legendary, but at least a precursor. It's gonna be very interesting to see the way they do that. It's always more details. You always need more details. Like for instance, in the other tracks, like lore and combat, they mention abilities that you will need. I definitely understand the glider. The glider, you obviously, the more you level it up, the higher you'll be able to fly. The higher you'll be able to jump. The more you'll be able to abuse air currents to reach certain places. I understand that. But what I don't understand is the abilities for combat. Like, is it what they're saying? Is it a certain percentage towards killing a monster? Is it something more? Is it an actual skill? They say abilities, and they're using that term very vaguely. So it's like, what abilities? Now the touchback on the glider, just a little bit. The glider, okay? It says you will be able to use the glider anytime during free fall. Meaning, if you're falling from somewhere, you will be able to morph in time into a glider and fly around the Muguma jungle. How big is this area? How big is this area? I can't even think about how massive this is gonna be if this is going to be the way they're going to do it. Now, of course, you have to level it up a little bit more, like I was saying before, in order to be able to have enough energy to hold the glider, which is kind of like, I'm a Norn. I could be able to hold a glider, but I guess you have to be able to balance yourself in the air, and that's how they kind of, fit it into the mechanics. But the more you level up this mastery track, the more you're going to be able to hold on to the glider or not use up all the energy. Now what I want is an impossible place to get to. Not impossible, of course, but you have to level up your mastery skill for the glider, or just be very skillful in the way you use the air currents or the way you use the glider. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some really cool mechanics to using the glider, other than just like, oh, okay, I'm just gliding here. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a way to kind of like Banjo-Kazooie. Was it Banjo-Kazooie? Man, I feel like I've mentioned Banjo-Kazooie before, but I remember a gliding part in the game, in those old platformers for the 64, where you used to glide on top of air currents. I might be thinking about multiple games from my childhood, but that will be pretty epic. I could just imagine a jumping puzzle including this in some way, and you just have these pressure airs from like the Stepping Stones jumping puzzle in South Sun Cove, where it is a timed push of air current out of the ground, and you kind of have to get pushed up each time, and each time you get pushed up, your energy goes back up to full, or replenishes just a little bit, so you can reach the next air current, and you just keep going forward and reaching your destination. And if you fall, you die, and oh man, that would be epic. There's plenty of other interesting things, but they're so vague with the abilities. I just don't know really how to speculate about what type of combat traits are you gonna have to have. It's really straightforward with the Fractals mastery though, where you're just gonna have to get better infusions, more agony resistance. It's gonna help a ton to level that up. But the mastery lore one is going to be quite interesting as well. I want to know, learning new languages, how is that going to come to play? Are we going to be able to get a certain things that weren't in English, they're going to be switched to English as we level up the mastery track? Are they going to have loads of that where you can read ruins? Like, you could see a lot of ruins in the trailers, read ruins and get extra lore from the caves and stuff like that, and people just sit there and read all day. Talk to certain people. I can totally see them where you're talking to certain people like the Tengu or something like that. You talk to the shamans or whatever, or the master samurai, and you get to unlock a place, a whole new map. Of course, it's not going to be a whole new map, but secret hidden places. But they say you also will get abilities that you'll be able to fight certain enemies stronger. And it makes me wonder with this whole mastery track thing, and the separation between the two regions, is that are they going to have abilities that are going to cross over each region? Well, if I get something that kills Morjum minions over in the jungle mastery system region, will I be able to use that in Dry Top or whatever, the rest of Tyria? Will I be able to use those abilities? I'm assuming so, that even if it's it's cut in half, in each region, and of course each region as more expansions and more areas come out through the living story, we're gonna be able to have them all everywhere. I would hope so, because that would encourage you to go to different places. That would encourage you to level up certain things, because it will carry over to the next region. And because you played that some of the older areas in Tyria, you're able to be a lot stronger when you go to the Heart of Thorns expansion pack, especially if someone who's playing from the very beginning. That would be quite cool. Cross region play. Man, region lock is always such a dirty word in gaming, and I really hope they don't region lock this.
Okay, so I totally missed this in the blog, so I was rereading it and saw, use the air to your advantage in combat against certain foes, and save yourself from accidental death by slipping. Hold up. Is a boss gonna attack us or push us off a cliff, and we'll be able to fly down to safety instead of falling to our death and having to play that dumb music that I always have in my videos? What is this?
All right, question time. Ding, ding, ding. I should have like a jingle here. Do you think there are going to be dungeons and raids in this expansion, and what will the rewards be? Well, okay, I definitely think there's going to be raids and dungeons, or their form of raids and dungeons. If you recall, they hired a raid coordinator or designer way back, and I'm pretty sure he's been working his butt off in this expansion. I mean, why wouldn't he? And they briefly mentioned it, like glossed right over it during the trailer and during of course PAX, and they haven't mentioned anything from what I know. If you ever heard anything, let me know in the comments, because that'll be great to know. I think they are working on something. I don't know if they're working on dungeons, but they are probably working on like things for guilds. I definitely think there's going to be guild missions that are dungeon oriented. I definitely think they're going to build on top of that, because with the new guild halls and everything like that, which answers another question if you're watching this, I think the guild raids and dungeons, or whatever you want to call it, instances, are going to play a big part in the guild halls. I don't believe that they will just toss something out there. They'll just toss housing and not like really put it into the game. I think there's a reason why they held back a lot of features. Now that we know this, held back a lot of features so they can implement it in this way, everything tied together, which is really cool. It's like the same way when they introduced the wardrobe. They introduced it to PvP and PvE, and they kind of just put it all together. I think this is the same concept. and you're gonna see it like really mapped in. Now for them separate from guilds, I think they will have something that's major. I mean, they glossed over it, but I still think maybe they'll surprise us with some raid content or some raid type content, hopefully in an instance. I'm not for another laggy Taquato fight or any of the worm fight or anything like that. Even though those are great and those can be in the game, I'll be happy if it's one of those. I still think I want it to be instanced. Yeah. What would the rewards be? Of course, guild hall rewards, and probably it will work well with legendary items that you can get by doing the raids. If you're good at that, you can get, I guess, enough tokens or a chance to get it. Mostly people would probably prefer tokens to be able to buy what they need, like for instance an Obi shard equivalent for crafting a precursor. That would be pretty good. Is there going to be a new city? I think so. I'm trying not to confuse new city with a new outpost. I feel like maybe we might come across some type of city that's always been there, or maybe they once we push into the next map, if they have the story going in that direction, if from each map to the next, there's a story constantly going from each dynamic event to the other, and then finally you push all the way inside to a next map, and then the story will continue, and then all of a sudden they camp up and they build themselves like a little city that's like very shaggy, very like thrown together. That would be quite interesting to have. You'll have your Mystic Forge and all your crafting places and stuff like that. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I feel like in an expansion there has to be some place you could be, a city that you can go to just to kind of rest and not have to port way all the way to Divinity's Reach or wherever home city you like to be in. For me, I like Divinity's Reach, but it would be nice to see another city, hopefully more optimized than Lion's Arch and all those other cities. Do you think legendaries will be harder to make? I don't think it will be harder. I think it will be more streamlined. I definitely don't think it will be hard. Maybe it'll be less of a certain type of grind. Maybe just playing the game will give you more rewards than it just being like, oh, you have to really farm a lot of gold. You really have to farm tier 6 materials. You really have to farm these ectos. You really have to do these mystic clovers. And that's the way you get a legendary. I think there's going to be more to it now. I wonder how they're going to replace it though. Right now everyone has saved up a bunch of their stuff. They have all these gifts and stuff like that. What are they gonna do? Are they going to they're not gonna render these gifts useless. They're probably gonna find a different way for you to get those gifts, maybe. That would be quite interesting, getting gifts as drops. Only a chance to get a gift as a drop, or as you complete a very, very hard legendary PvE track, mastery track, you'll be able to get a chance to kind of pick which gift you want. So if you're missing a gift, you can pick it. That's quite interesting as well. Yeah. If you could design one legendary, what would it be? Oh, it's gonna be my all-time favorite. Somebody actually drew this for me. Awesome artist. Thank you for that. I'm pretty sure you're watching. It starts with an M. Misasuki. I'll probably have it up here somewhere. But we answered this question on months ago on a VisualWood pod, and I wanted a scythe that had a very ghostly effect. And when you look into the scythe, you will see that it's kind of see-through, but it's also reflecting at the same time. It's a very interesting effect, and it will have like a ghastly glow or fog that comes with it, and maybe as you walk, you'll see a trail of like fog that follows you. And it could be any color. Right now the picture has it in kind of like a bluish color, but I don't know if I necessarily want it in black. even though I would like to see a really cool black effect, kind of like I really like the Halloween shield. The Halloween shield is really cool. It has that very dark black effect, and that's really cool. And that would probably be really cool with this scythe as well. But yeah, that's what I would make. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this new blog. There's a lot of information here, a lot of speculation going on. And this was a tasty video. I definitely enjoyed making this one. Not that I don't enjoy making the others. Okay, I'm gonna stop now. Anyways, guys, I'll see you guys later. Stay visual and be safe playing the game. You don't want to be playing too long. You might die playing Heart of Thorns too much. I don't know. Maybe. Just be careful. Some people die playing World of Warcraft. But I'm gonna walk off the set right now because I'm talking too much.